Welcome to the Scorched Earth podcast. This is late on Thursday, January 30th. And, I think we're all still a little in shock about the plane crash in Washington, D.C. And I've heard all the hyperbole and the accusations coming out. And maybe this is a good thing for me for this podcast that we kind of find our soul. Because you know what? I'm just up to here with it. I really am. The Democrats believe that the Republicans throw things out there without facts. I mean, we're still looking for the immigrants who are eating the dogs and cats. It is, from my perspective, it is amazing how in the last year that Trump, I don't believe, was ever made to account for erroneous assertions and things that weren't fact-based. Now, I'm sure that the Republicans say the same thing about Joe Biden. And look, honestly, he did say some things that weren't true. Sure, I get it. That's it. But from my perspective, Trump continually does it. And he does it on, and then eventually you just get tired of it. You get worn out, you get beaten down, and it just gets bloody effing old, right? So yesterday, we had that tragedy with the American Airlines flight, and here's what Donald J. Trump said about it today.
I changed the Obama standards from very mediocre at best to extraordinary. You remember that. Only the highest aptitude, they have to be the highest intellect and psychologically superior people were allowed to qualify for air traffic controllers. That was not so prior to getting there. When I arrived in 2016, I made that change very early on. And then when I left office and Biden took over, he changed them back to lower than ever before. I put safety first. Obama, Biden, and the Democrats put policy first. And they put politics at a level that nobody's ever seen, because this was the lowest level. Their policy was horrible, and their politics was even worse. And my administration will set the highest possible bar for aviation safety. We have to have our smartest people. It doesn't matter what they look like, how they speak, who they are. It matters intellect, talent, the word talent. You have to be talented, naturally talented geniuses. You can't have regular people doing that job. They won't be able to do it. I changed the Obama standard.
All right. Sorry for that little glitch. Well, first of all, how are we going to expect geniuses at the FAA when we don't have one? It's the president. Let's start with that. Stupid brings stupid. Number two, to his assertion, unsubstantiated on any level, that Joe Biden didn't fire any air traffic controllers when he took office. Now, some left from attrition. I'm sure there was diversity programs to bring a more inclusive pool. But let's remember that the Republicans under Ronald Reagan fired all the air traffic controllers. And literally it took 25 years to get back to a normal standard. We're lucky planes weren't falling out of the air. The last major plane crash in America was in Buffalo in 2009, right after Barack Obama took office. Okay, we've had nothing but pretty much air stability since then. That is a testament to the FAA and the other organizations that work with them. But at the end of the day, Trump is saying things that have no substantiation at all. And it is funny, at the end of that audio, he said, well, we're still going to have to do an investigation. He can't name one person who was unqualified who was there. I just don't understand that. Yeah, sure. It'd be great if we had nothing but, Isaac Newton and Albert Einstein as air traffic controllers, but that's not how it works. People bring different skills to the job, but there is a minimum standard. They never lowered the minimum standard. Make sure you understand that. that Obama and Biden increased the opportunities, but they never lowered the minimum standard. Trump did not raise the minimum standard. He just tried to make it more exclusive, not inclusive. And here is where I come down. And this is where it is. And if you don't like it, hey, I get it. You do your thing, I do mine. This is Trump's fault, straight out. I am tired of him blaming other people who had nothing to do with it. You know what? You've been the president. Yeah, this happened under your watch. This didn't happen under Obama. It didn't happen under Biden. This is your fault, and you should be impeached. If you had any modicum of decency, you would resign in shame. But no, you're not going to do that, right? He keeps saying this is Biden and Obama, and Obama in his quiet moments must be like, man, I have been living rent-free in this dude's head forever. Can this guy just move on? He's like the ex that stalks you, just never letting go. And as he said, you know, he needs to reverse Obama and Biden policies. He said he did it in 2017, but he didn't. He absolutely didn't. He made it more exclusive. He made it more regimented, and he made it more white. Okay, look, I'm not going to get into the racial aspect of it. He is. He absolutely is. But make no mistake, this happened under his watch. He effing did this, okay? Now we're going to get it. Now you're going to say that, well, you know, he's only been there a week. Well, what did he have to do with it? Okay? The New York Post is reporting since his inauguration day, and we're going to get a little more into what he did the day after inauguration, that the FAA and the National Advisory Safety Committee have been running amok. Everybody is getting relieved of their jobs. Everybody is just looking for the fire exit. They are scared. They don't know. I think there is a dereliction of duty, and it started with the president. He said the standards for air traffic controllers have been too lax. Absolutely have not been lowered in the last 20 years. The last time they were lowered is after Reagan fired everybody and they had to just get people in the door. They were hiring janitors. They were hiring bartenders and barbacks. And, you know, we just had to have somebody who says, oh, we don't want plane A to hit plane B. And thank goodness nobody did. He seems to forget Ronald Reagan fired all the air traffic controllers. And to me, that's when the beginning of the war on unions started. But that's another story for another day. He says it's their fault, but there needs to be an investigation. So it truly means he has no facts. This is, quote unquote, another one of his visceral gut things. And you know what I got to say to your gut thing? F you. Straight F you. And I would use a more elaborate term, but superstar producer Stacy says I can't cuss for the first 10 minutes. All right, girl. You're testing my patience. Love ya. So the New York Times, after he was asked by reporters how he knew it was diversity, he says, because I have common sense. Wow. Is that the same common sense that got you elected? Because you're an idiot. And it's just so apparent that you don't know what you're talking about. And you are the leader of the free world. You're making assertions with no facts. And when you cry that the media doesn't do enough fact checking, you do absolutely none. And yet you throw these dispersions and you taint these great agencies. And look, I am not arguing what happened here was cool. It wasn't. There's a lot of the air traffic control tower was in contact with the helicopter 3 seconds before it hit the side of that plane. And I saw the video and it's just bloody terrible. But at the end of the day, it was a mistake. But at the end of the day, Trump is the king. Heavy lies the crown. Okay? It's your fault. Let's start the impeachment proceedings immediately. You know, he was talking also in comments after what you just heard. The FAA under Obama, and this is what Trump said, they actually came out with a directive. It was too white. Wow. So, you know, isn't that what they used to say about the police department? A little too white. I think policing got better the more of a rainbow flavor it took with women, minorities. I think they have different perspectives. Who says white people have a monopoly on good judgment. We all come from different cultural backgrounds. I have seen many police chiefs say their department became better when they added women, because women ask different questions than men do. I'm not talking black or white there. I'm talking gender. And air traffic control, if you've ever seen it, it is literally like the craziest video game you've ever seen. There's that movie with John Cusack and Billy Bob Thornton, and they're air traffic controllers, and literally they are living on the razor's edge for 8 hours every day. Like, oh, we got to get this plane in this slot. There is nothing. And I will say this, that the Republicans under Trump are talking about cutting every budget. The FAA has needed a budget increase for the last 30 years, and nobody wants to give it to them because no planes have fallen out of the sky. All right? So, how is this Trump's fault? Well, he's president. It happened under his watch, straight out. But let's dive a little deeper into it. Trump got rid of the previous head of the FAA. We'll get into why that happened. And he hasn't named a replacement in a week. Wow. I got a funny feeling that there's going to be a replacement named pretty damn quick. Oops, we made a boo-boo. Now, the FAA heads usually serve 5 years. Most of these government agencies serve 5 or 10 years. And the reason they do that, FBI, FAA, is so that one president can put somebody in, and it is not a political position. Now, Matthew Whitaker was the head of the FAA a week ago, and he stepped down. Also, the Associated Press is reporting that on January 21st, the day after Trump's inauguration, the members of the Aviation Security Advisory Commission were told that the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, would eliminate all of the advisory committees as part of, wait for it, here's the official comment from DHS, commitment to eliminating the misuse of resources and ensuring the DHS activities prioritize our national security. Well, you know what? I'm going to give them some kudos. The national security is improved because you know what? We got 67 less Americans to worry about. Blood's on your hands. Straight up. You guys want to cut? When you start cutting these essential safety services, people will die. And you know what? More people are going to die. Now, John, do you have a name? Do you have a fact? No. I'm in the same water they are. But I know from a day ago, empirical evidence, 67 people just died in the first week of his administration. Are we going to be over 100 in 2 months? I don't know. We will see. But it's the same abhorrent bull that we always deal with. I'm trying to be good, Stacey. So why did Matthew Whitaker, who had a 5-year term, step down? Well, I did some research. You can call me Bob Woodward if you want. That's fine. And this is sick. This is just sick, what I found out. He's been, in the month of December, he was repeatedly attacked by Elon Musk on X, constantly. In December, Elon tweeted, he needs to resign. Now, why is Elon Musk picking on him? What's the big deal there? Well, funny thing happened on the way to the forum, right? It seems that the FAA in September fined SpaceX $633,009 in penalties over allegedly conducting 2 rocket launches in 2023 with unapproved changes to the rocket itself. Now, this is a violation of their contract with the government. Now, I am sure